Hi everyone, welcome to Byte and Beyond with Uday. This is part 2 for our Spring Boot REST API with MySQL database using Spring Data JPA. So this is the part 2 of this tutorial, and in this tutorial we will going to cover our service layer. We will made some small changes in service layer. We will create our repo layer, and then in the end, once that is done, when everything is done, we will test our APIs. I will show you how the data is getting persisted or getting saved in the database. How we can remove the data from the database using the REST APIs. So we will, create the user or create the employee in the database, then we will update, then we will fetch all the employees from the database, then we will get the, employees by ID, then we will delete uh, the employee from the database. So we will, test all the things which we have developed so far, and then we will wrap up the our this part too. So yeah, let's begin. Before we start, if you directly jump to this part two, I will recommend you to please watch part one first. So if you want to watch part one, you should see the I button somewhere on the screen. Please click on it first, complete that part one, and then come to this part two. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so let's go to the service layer first. So you can see, over here our what can I say? Before we go to the service layer, let's uh, make it ready our repository layer. Okay, so for that, let's do one thing. Let's create new package, new package at the same level where our service and control layer is. So over here, I will type repository. Okay, okay, repository. Our package is ready. Now, sorry. Now I will create one interface. Employee repository. Okay. As I mentioned, this is we are just giving the what I can say, the we are providing the abstraction layer, and the actual work or actual implementation is available inside the Spring Data JPA. So for that, I need to indicate that I'm using, JPA repository. How can I say this is the JPA repository? For that, I need to add JPA repository annotation. Interface. Basically, I'm extending the JPA repository interface. You can see over here. This is the JPA repository. Over here, you can see a bunch of methods. Okay. It basically extends another interface, and that's how the chain goes. But yeah, if we just extend the JPA repository, our we are we have started using the Spring Data JPA. Okay, we don't need to worry much. And what kind of employee we want to manage using this repository? So we want to manage employee entity. Okay, what kind of entity we want to manage? So in our case, it is employee. Okay, if I click on it, I will navigate to this. Over here, I can see one related problem. What exactly it is? Okay. We will talk about service later. Anyways, this is the service. Okay, let's first complete our repo. And this is the entity I want to manage employee, or I want to store or manage employee entity into the database. And what are the type of primary key? So in our case, C, our primary key type is long. So I will define over here long. So these two information I need to give this to this JPA repository. And guys, trust me, we are done. We don't need to write any we don't need to write anything over here. Everything will be, taken care by the JPA repository. I mean, at least for the CRUD operation. CRUD meaning create, update, get, delete. This basic information is taken care by the JPA repository by default. So guys, we don't need to, write anything over here. This is sufficient. We will just add repository annotation. Okay, that's it. Meaning this is the repository and I am extending the JPA repository. I want to manage employee entity and the primary key type is long. Okay, you can see over here everything. So this is more than enough, guys. More than enough. Yeah. Now, now let me go to the service layer. Okay. Now, as you know that in our previous topic, in our previous series, we were using the dummy database. So, guys, now we don't need this dummy database. Nobody, no industry or no, I mean, no companies, uses the dummy database. That was for the, you know, just for the get you started. I mean, so we don't add much complexity. So it was just to get started. So we are removing this dummy database from our service layer, and we will be using that what I can say repository instead. So let me remove this, this method as well. Just a second. Employee service. Just a second. Employee service. Okay, yeah. We want to, or we are going to remove this unnecessary fields. Okay, at this level guys, we don't going to add any validation, or we don't want to add any validation at this point. We will add this in our next video, but in this video we will, just we will just persist our object in the database and just play with it. So just ignore the validation in this video. We will introduce the validation in our next series or in our next video basically. Okay, so this our we have removed the code uh, which was meant for dummy database. Okay, so I think let me introduce the repository. So you can see I'm introducing the repository in my, what I can say, in my service layer. Okay, employee repository. So this is the way of dependency injection. If you declare your field as final, okay, and then you create your constructor and pass the property, the Spring Boot will inject this dependency to this variable. It is similar to you write as auto wired. This is similar to auto wired, but I prefer this way. Okay, so you guys might have thought that why I'm not using the other AutoWire. So this is similar to AutoWire, whether you use AutoWire or whether you use final field and then you use the constructor to provide a way to inject this dependency. This is, we are good to. So this is similar to AutoWire. Nothing different over here. Okay. Now let's start with the save employee method. Okay. So we are before we move ahead, as you can see, our inside our service layer we are adding repository layer, and from here we will basically call employee repository dot save to save our employee. Okay, so if you see our what I can say, our diagram, if you see our diagram, that this is the user. It will The user will send the request from the postman. It will go to the controller layer. Okay, control layer pass that request to service layer, then service layer take help of the repository layer, that that what you can see over here. Inside our service layer, we are taking help of repository to save our employee object into the database. Okay, and then this repository layer, you can see this repository layer which we have introduced in our service. Okay, then it goes to the repository layer, and this repository layer will store data in our MySQL database. Okay, so that's how things, or that's how the flow works. Okay, let me show you the flow from the beginning just to help you understand. So you can see this is controller, this is our control layer. Okay, and over here I have mentioned employee service, and inside each and every endpoint I am using employee service. Okay, so see employee service save, then we have update, then we have find by. You can see each and every method I am using employee service methods. So this is controller, this is control layer. Inside control layer I am calling employee service, which is our second layer. And once we go to our service layer, okay, then inside our service layer we have declared our repo layer. You can see service layer, then it talks to repo layer. So we have declared over here and we are talking with the repo layer. And repo layer basically talks with the database. So that's how the flow goes. Now you can connect the dots. The flow from the start to beginning, I mean, sorry, start to end and end to start. Okay. So when the user sends the request, controller, then service, then repo, then DB. And in time of response, DB, repo, service, controller, and user. So that's how the flow travels. Okay. Okay. So let's finish our service layer quickly. Okay. There is nothing to do much over here because we aren't going to introduce validation at this point. We will cover that in our next video. Okay. Or at least upcoming videos. We will definitely use the validation. Okay. But in upcoming videos. So let me for the update to update the employee, we have the same method. We don't have the update. We have the save. So I will use the save method of the repository. Okay, and then I'm passing the employee object inside the repository method. Okay, and if I return this, okay, I'm returning this. Then we have find by ID. Okay, okay, find by ID. Okay, let me tag the return statement, and then employee repository. I'm going to take help from repository because whenever we are talking with the database, we need to take help of employee repository. Now we are basically finding an employee by ID. ID meaning primary key 1, 2, 3. So in that case, I'm passing ID, and this basically returns the optional. So I can throw exception over here. If the employee is not found, I can throw exception or else throw. I'm using basically lambda expression over here, and I am throwing the response status exception, and employee is not found. That is why I am giving not found HTTP status code. Okay, so what does it mean? I'm I'm using the employee repository find by ID method. It basically returns the optional. So what I'm saying here, if the employee is present, just return it. Okay. Else, else throw the exception. So if the employee is present in our database, this method will return that employee. Otherwise, this method will throw the not found exception. And that's what we need, guys. Okay. And then we have what I can say, delete by ID. So again, we are talking with the database. Okay, delete by ID. That's it. We are this method type is void, so we don't need anything. Okay, and then this is the what I can say to get the all the employees available in the database. In upcoming videos, we'll definitely introduce a pagination because nobody on I mean none of the web application return all the records at one go or at a single time. We must have to use pagination, okay? But that is the advanced topic. We will definitely cover it, don't worry. So let's, as I mentioned earlier, let's start with the basics. We are not in hurry. So okay. So let's start with the basics, guys. I mean, in especially in the technical field, I mean, what I believe as per my experiences, guys, always start with the basics and then jump to the advanced topics. If you guys directly jump to the advanced topics, you won't be able to understand that topic or that particular area in depth. Okay, you won't be able to get a grip on those topics. So I always recommend you start with the basic and then slowly move to the advanced topics. This is the just the advice from my end. So because that's what I follow in my life. I mean, in my career, I start with the basic and then I jump to the advanced topics. And guys, always I always give you suggestion or give you advice to always do the hands-on. If you just watch these videos on YouTube, you will able to know or you will able to understand all the things at that time. But when you get your hands dirty, when you actually create a project in your local system by yourself, you know, even referring this video, what I'm recommending you over here is refer my video, but side by side, whatever I'm doing in my IDE, I recommend you to do the same thing in your IDE, so you will get the better idea. Whenever you do things, you get the better understanding and better idea. So always follow this way. Don't just go through my videos parallelly. Whatever I'm making any changes, start making these changes in your ID. Okay. So if you do this, you will be get the concept in your head pretty well. So yeah, guys, don't think I am giving giving you a lot of lecture, but if you want to grow, then you need to follow this kind of way. So yeah, this is for you. I mean, guys, that's what I've followed in my life, in my career. And you can see over here we have few useless imports. So let's remove this. I'm hitting Control Alt O. So yeah, those are removed. And guys, we don't need to touch this. What I can say, our control layer. Our control layer remains pretty much same. We don't need to touch over here anything because the endpoints hardly get changed. The whatever you changes make more. I mean, once you get a job, okay, and in your career, you will always make make changes in your service layer where your business code is available, or the sometimes in your repository layer if you want to change something the way you want to store your data in the database. So you always you will invest more time in the service layer and the repo layer than the control layer because control layer are pretty straightforward. So yes, guys, we are done with our coding, and it's time to play with the APIs. Okay, so let me show you that. See, over here we don't have any employee demo database. Okay, so when I start, we should have employee demo database should created along with employee table. So let's see how it goes. We are getting some exception. What exactly it is saying? Unable to determine dialect without JTBC metadata. Please set Jakarta persistent JTBC for common cases. Okay, when a custom dialect implementation must be provided. Okay, it is complaining about some JTBC dialect. Let me read over here. Unable to determine dialect. Okay, unable to create request. Okay, I think it is complaining about the dialect. Okay, I think we should not need the dialect, but not sure why it is complaining about it. Okay, so let me do one thing. Unknown database employee demo. Okay, we see unable to obtain. Okay, unknown database. Okay, just a second. Employee demo. Okay, I think we should give some dialect over here, guys. So let me, provide the dialect over here. So just a second. What we can do is we can take help of Copilot because I don't remember the syntax exactly. So let me take a help of Copilot in my case. Okay. Okay. My SQL dialect. So that's how you can if you face such some this kind of issue, you can take help from Copilot. Nowadays, Gen AI is quite popular, so try to use these tools. MySQL dialect. Okay, I think this should be the sufficient. Let me hit the enter. Let's see what Copilot says. This is the issue of the Copilot. I mean, yeah. See, this is the thing which we need to define in our what I can say in our application.yaml file. Okay, so JPA and then Hibernate and then okay, then we have a dialect. Okay, so inside the Hibernate, we should have this dialect, MySQL dialect. So meaning that Hibernate knows that Hibernate is talking with the MySQL database. I hope it should work. Let's restart our application this time. Mm-hmm. Unable to determine dialect without JDBC metadata. Why? Why there is a problem? Must be provided. Okay. Okay. Just bear with me, guys. Let's solve this issue. What we can do, is we can open this terminal. Not terminal, our console, and unable to isolate JDBC connection. Employee demo. Okay, is my MySQL server is running? Yes, it is up and running. Okay, and let me give this error to the Copilot, and he must be able to figure out the issue. Unknown database employee demo, meaning when we are starting our application, it is unable to find this database in our DB, but we already have given this field create. Ah, guys, see over here we have a typo. See, I have written create, meaning when I am starting my application, our web application is not creating database. So that's why our application is complaining that you have defined employee demo over here and we are unable to find any database with the name employee demo. You can see if I even if I refresh, we don't have any employee demo. So over here we have a typo. This was the issue, right? This was the issue. And I believe if I don't specify this dialect, the JPA should be smart enough to create a database in our system. Let's restart once again. Let's see how it goes this time. Yeah, it started working. See, I mean there was a typo. That's why instead of there was a spelling mistake in create. So that's why we are facing this issue. Anyways, now our table is created. Our database is also created, and inside our database, our table is created. So you can see bunch of information over here. Hikari, you see database info. Mhm. Hikari is a basically connection pool uh, where our DB connection is stored or available. From there, we can get the connection and connect with the database, and then again once the our work job is done, put that connection into Hikari connection pool once again. So this is the job of Hikari. We will definitely cover this topic as well in our advanced upcoming videos. And you can see this is the database version, MySQL database version 8.0.40. Okay, and then we have a see. This is the so see guys, as I mentioned. So because of this field, our web application will automatically create this employee demo database in our MySQL server. So if I go to MySQL server and refresh, I should be see this employee demo database. See, so this is the purpose of this field, and then you can see DDL auto update. So this help us to create a table in this database. If I add a new field, it will add a new column. I will also give you that example. Okay, but in the end, okay, so you can see over here create table query. Okay, so this is the basically create table statement to used to create a table, and then this is for the primary key employee sequence, another table created for the to maintain the primary key. Okay, and yeah, this all the column over here. We are giving indexing, and for the email column, we are creating a constraint, make it unique. There will be index for the this constraint. Okay, so let's open the DB over here. Let me expand the. You can see employee. Employee sequence is basically to maintain the primary key, to generate the primary key. So this is the this created by the this will be the used by the what I can say, the MySQL database itself to generate the uh, primary key. So you can see next val is one. So if we insert the new employee in our in this database, the employee ID will be one. So you can see employee ID, email, first name, last name, and salary. Okay, and our table name is employee. So if you remember earlier, I was explaining you guys that this will become our table name. So if you see employee, so employee is our table name, and these properties will become our column name. So if you can see employee underscore ID. Okay, then we have a email. Okay, email, then we have a first name. Okay, so whenever we have a camel case first name, okay, over there you will see underscore. Okay, That's how it maps to the table. Then we have a last name, okay, last name, and then in the end we have a salary. Salary. Now, if we see the specification of this table, so let me click on it. Let me go to the column. So you can see this is employee ID. The type is big int. Okay, it cannot be null because the primary key cannot be null. Then we have an email. So if you see the email, focus over here, guys. Email. I have given the length is equal to 50. So you can see the length is 50. Nullable, no, it cannot be null. Okay, because it is unique, so that is why it is cannot be null. Even though I haven't specified nullable is equal to false. Unique meaning, I mean, it should um, be it should sorry, my bad. I mean, nullable, yes, but yeah, this is unique. I was mixing up the two things over here. Pardon me. Yeah, so see, email, this is the constraint and allows null, yes. This is unique, yes, because you can see over here we have mentioned this is the unique. And you can see, you can match the, rest of the type and configuration for the properties. So this properties become the column and class name become the table name. So that's how the mapping does. Okay. Now let's go to the Postman, guys, and let's try these APIs. So you can see the in employee sec table, this is the responsible to generate the primary ID. The your next employee ID will be one over here. Okay, so let me. Okay, yeah. So you can use the same APIs which we have developed in our last series. If you do not have those APIs handy, what you can do is just click on this new tab, and then from here you can just select post, and in the URL just type this http localhost colon 8080. Okay, otherwise if you have clone the GitHub project, or you can simply go to the GitHub project and scroll down, and you can click on this API. I mean this button, run this in Postman, run in Postman, and from here as well you can access the all these APIs. So let me give you example from here itself. Okay, it's taking a lot of time, guys. I think. What I can do is I can switch to the different network. I'm switching to my Wi-Fi. Just bear with me, guys. Uh, yeah, so we have switched to. I mean, I have switched to my Wi-Fi. Okay, and yeah, you can see the API is over here. Okay, and from here as well, you can uh, use the API. Okay, you don't need to type anything. Okay, just go to the body. Uday Patel. Okay, we have a new field, email. We can introduce that later. That is fine. Okay, let me send the request. It is telling me to sign in. Let me sign in, guys. You also need to sign in before you use it. Registration expired. Okay, yeah. This one is my account. Google. Few moment, guys. Yeah. Okay. I think. I'm logged in and we are good to go. So yeah, let's hit the say send button. See, created. User is created. And if you go to the database and if I refresh this, you can see one employee ID is one, and at the same time, this will be updated to 51. It is basically updating automatically. That is fine. Okay. So one employee ID is one, and then first name is Uday, then last name is Patel, and this is my salary. Okay. So you can see the data is stored in the database itself with one click. Okay. Now, let me go to the put. Okay. Before I go to the put, let me use the get all employees. So it will fetch all the employees from the database for us. Uh, See, let me, make this slightly up. Yeah, you can see employee ID is one, first name is Uday, last name is Patel. Email is null. Why? Because we haven't passed the email address. Then this is my salary. I don't earn much, so 1000 is my salary. And then we have, another field which is email. Email, and okay, over here I am giving my email address, which is patrauday07 at the gmail.com. Okay, and comma. Okay, and no, I mean I don't, I don't have to, add this over here. Instead, I should add inside my put API because I want to update the employee now. Okay, let me copy this data from. So you basically pass, you need to pass this JSON to the request body. Okay, and over here, over here, okay, over here, I am passing my email address. So you can see, for till now, um, I don't have any email address. So once I update, even in our database, see, in even in our database, we don't have any email address. Even if I refresh, okay, null. Now, if I update this record, you can see one Uday Patel, Patel Uday 07 at gmail.com. And if I try to fetch these all the employees from the database, I should see the email address over here. You can see now we have the email address as well. Similarly, if I want to, update my salary, let's say I got a promotion, uh, make sure you are updating in the request body. So let's say I got the promotion and I my salary become 5000. Let's say 5000. And if I update it, it will also get updated here as well as you can see the same thing in our database. Both the things will be updated. See, let me expand this Patel Uday 07 and let me show you my salary. You are the lucky one, guys. You are seeing my salary. See, 5000. Okay. Mm, yeah. And let's add one more user. Okay. Let me use one more user, which is John. Then last name is Doy, and then email address John at the rate yahoo.com. Let's use a Yahoo this time. Yahoo, and John is a excellent developer or excellent engineer, and he's earning, let's say 55,000. Huh? Pretty pretty good amount. 55,000. Okay, 55,000. Okay, user created. If I try to get all the employees, see, now we have John Doy as well. Okay, and similarly, if I want to, update the John, John data, then I can use my put API. Okay, let's John got the promotion and his salary becomes 65,000 now. Okay, and 65,050 paisa. Okay, see, it is updated, and if I try to, see, now if I go to the table, you can see the, new entry for the user as well. Okay, then we have another API, get employee by ID, if you want to, uh, get one employee at a time. For example, at a time, I just want to see the record of Uday, then I can pass the ID 1. If I want to see the record of John, then I can pass the ID 2. Then in the end, we have delete. Let's say I want to, remove some data in my data from my database basically. But guys, before I explain you or I demonstrate this delete API, um, let's do one thing. If you remember in our last project, if we restart our application, we were losing our all the data because we were using dummy database. But in this case, we are using the actual database. So let me restart our application and see, are we losing data or not? Guys, this time we won't lose our data because our data is stored inside the database, not inside our application. So that is why you can see, if you see the diagram, you can see our data is stored over here. Earlier we were storing our data inside our Spring Boot web application itself. We were storing our data inside our Spring Boot application because we were using dummy database. Now we have introduced MySQL database, hence our data remains persisted and we won't lose any data. Okay, so as you just know, we have just restarted our application. Okay, and now let's say if I try to get all the employees, guess guys, will we get all the employees? Yes, we will. See, all the employees are there. I mean, we haven't lose any data because we have a separate storage where we are storing our, all the records. So yeah, this is the benefit of using database, and yeah, now let's demonstrate this delete API. So let me, delete employee one. Okay, let me remove this Grammarly icon. Okay, okay, 204, no content, but our record is deleted. Okay, so now if I try to get all employees, I should get only one employee, which is John Doe. See, only John Doe. And from here as well, if I say John Doe, give me John Doe with ID 2, yes, it is giving us. If I say 1, give me Uday. No, we don't have Uday because we have deleted. Even from the database, the the Uday Patel will be deleted. Let me refresh this. See, Uday is gone now. No Uday is here. Only John is here. Okay. So yeah, guys, that's how the uh, Spring Data JPA works with the MySQL database. You know, and that's how we can build an application where we can talk with the database and store our data inside the database and uh, manipulate our data which is stored in the database. So yeah, that's how we can build web application which is basically store all the data inside the database. So I think guys, that's it. for this video. In upcoming videos, we will dive deep into the advanced topics. When you are building application, uh, there is not only one entity. There could be hundred of entities, and there could be relationship among these entities. So if you might have heard, there are one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship. So guys, we will cover those topics in upcoming videos. We will start with the one-to-one, and then one-to-many, and then many-to-many. So guys, stay tuned. And if you find my videos useful, uh, if you are learning new things from my video, so please share, subscribe, like, comment, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.